Isabel has broken much of her association with Spain's recent past, putting behind her the protective custody of parents and duena and village church to work in the city. She is no stranger to loneliness or the distractions of the capital. But her few possessions are her own, and she is part of Spain's search for something new and better. Not long ago, this would have been unthinkable. A respectable girl did not work and certainly did not live away from her family. Spanish youth demonstrates, criticizes, or attends a political meeting at the risk of its physical freedom, but its rebellion is authentic and significant. The Galerías Preciados is Madrid's newest and largest department store. Isabel works here for $10 a week, selling merchandise far beyond her meager wage. There's an Isabel for every customer, and more back in the villages. A supermarket in Madrid is a daring challenge to the old tradition of small shops or vendor stalls, limited inventory, minimum choice for the consumer, and the soft sell of short supply. Spain's traditional system of marketing and commerce is threatened for the first time. Innovations like this could ease Spain's surplus of farm labor. Another new phase of Spain is mobility. Over the worn and rickety rail system and the rudimentary roads, Spaniards are coming to the city. They are less inclined to endure stoically the poverty of farm labor. For the quick and the fortunate, there are opportunities in the city. Movement may ultimately end the regionalism, separatism, and old provincial loyalties. Spain, to be sure, has slums, and many of the adventurers from the country will populate them. As slums go, they're no worse than those of an American city, not as bad as the ones in Latin America. Spain's poverty, while genuine, is not quite the oppressive, grinding variety either. Perhaps because fish, olive oil, bread, wine, and some vegetables are cheap. The fortunate and the resourceful will one day move out of the slums and into new housing developments. Economists frequently deplore Franco's investment of American aid in housing instead of basic productive machinery and equipment. But whatever the rationale, there is change. Television antennas, 100% increase in telephones in 7 years. Car ownership tripled in 10. And mile after mile of new housing developments in the principal cities. Diversions constitute Spain's classic face. Wild, violent, passionate, proud, and cruel. Undisciplined with indisciplined form. Characteristic obsession with the tragedy of death. The bull ring attracts fewer Spaniards than soccer, but they see some of themselves at the corrida. tragedy is played out to its certain and predictable climax. The Spaniard says there is beauty in death in the afternoon. It's either an incredible subtlety or a rationalization, or it is also the killing of a bull.
Sometimes we speak of lands without winter, thinking of the tropical countries. Some people believe that Spain is something more surprising, a land without a future. But life goes on. The trouble is that for more than 20 years, no vital present issues have been discussed. There is no politics, and instead,
Viso is one of Spain's myriad villages. Two peasant brothers live with a widowed mother. In addition to a state social security program, Spaniards stoutly maintain their traditional system, in which each individual will probably provide a home at some time or another for a relative. They stream down the road each morning at sunrise to the shape-up at 90 cents a day. Most of them will find work, for labor is sufficiently cheap that the point of diminishing return is uncertain. There will be days and weeks of no work later, just the passage of time in the time-oblivious village. These are part of the landless labor force. 1/2 of Spain's manpower works at the land, but it produces only 1/4 of the country's income. With water, technology, and land redistribution, 40% of the labor force could be surplus, available for other work. Spain lags behind even Greece, Egypt, and southern Rhodesia in per capita consumption of food energy. One reason is the latifundia, the big estates, cultivated whimsically. There are 17 million acres of these, divided among 10,000 owners, 1/3 the irrigable land. The owners live in the cities, pursuing each golden moment. Their land is reserved for the breeding of bulls, devoted to pasture and hunting, or cultivated as infrequently as 1 year out of 5, when the owner can be persuaded to put aside for a few weeks the pleasure of the city. Sometimes the land is leased to sharecropper peasants for usurious shares of the crop. Here lay one of the principal causes of the Civil War, for the Republican government had moved to break up the latifundia. The landowners supported the rebellion. Peasants returning to the village, silhouetted against the setting sun, is a feature of classically romantic and picturesque Spain, which is marked for oblivion when the new age takes over.